contemplate the beauty of everything that surrounds us. That's the only way we can approach and learn about our reality. This is the intertidal zone in the Canary Islands, the frontier that fluctuates between the sea and the land. Volcanic shore platforms that hide and reveal themselves with the fierce pounding of the waves, with the force of the tides that are transformed as the wind dries them and the sun beats down on them mercilessly. Extraordinary changes take place in this extreme habitat. It is the border kingdom where, as under a magic spell, a rich biodiversity thrives. To contemplate it, we need to understand what is happening before our eyes. In these pools, for example, a perfect microcosmos of tiny creatures flourishes. Creatures that experience drastic changes in just one day. Even in those places where the sun lashes the earth the hardest, we can find life. Some small, discreet animals make their homes here. Sometimes they are well camouflaged on the basalt, and they have formed part of our landscape since very ancient times. They were born to combat the currents and the onslaught of the waves by steadfastly clinging to the rock. The force of their suction is immensely superior to their weight, and their stubborn efforts to survive are too. We're talking about the mollusks in the genus Patella, which are true limpets. Their shells, which are shaped like plates, ripple over the sides of the pools, the walls, and the bottoms of the shoals. Beneath that protective shield hides a creature endowed with a powerful foot, which it uses like a suction cup to cling to the rock and so become invincible. This animal's only aim, given the environment in which it is destined to live, is to survive. Since long before the Spanish reached the Canaries, limpets were a food source for the ancient inhabitants of the islands and relieved the hungry stomachs of many later generations as well. But the growth of tourism, habitat degradation, and pressure from people harvesting shellfish have reduced the limpet populations in the islands, specifically on the island of Fuerteventura. This island, beyond boasting lovely sandy shores, is the only refuge in the Canaries for this endemic limpet. The Patella candei, or Fuerteventura sun limpet. The last spot where it still survives is at the extreme southern end, in Candei. In some places in this area, adult populations that are able to reproduce can be found. There was a time when the sun limpet was abundant, especially in Fuerteventura, Lanzarote, and certain islets. Human population growth and the species' vulnerability have contributed to its dizzyingly fast decline, causing it to be listed among the species in danger of extinction in the National Catalog of Threatened Species.
Desde el año 2000, el Gobierno de Canarias, en coordinación con el Cabildo de Fuerteventura, ha establecido diversas acciones encaminadas a garantizar la supervivencia de la lapa majorera. Dada la crítica situación de esta especie, se aprobó el plan de recuperación para ampliar el conocimiento de su biología y establecer restricciones de emergencia en el marisqueo apoyadas con labores de vigilancia y control. Ya que la población quedó prácticamente restringida a la península de Jandía, se debe lograr establecer nuevos núcleos de dispersión en otros parajes protegidos de la isla de Fuerteventura, de vital importancia para la supervivencia de esta emblemática especie. Así que, aunque estudios recientes indican cierta recuperación, garantizar su supervivencia es tarea de todos.
The current situation, a real emergency, has forced the authorities to take drastic protective measures to prevent them from going extinct. One of these measures is the creation of new population groups scattered around the island to prevent poachers or an environmental disaster from driving them to extinction. To this end, groups of limpets must be relocated to new sites to create new populations in protected natural areas. The first action of this kind was carried out on June 2, 2023, when 47 individuals were transported to Lobos Islet. The distribution of the individuals is essential because limpet eggs are fertilized externally, so the process is delicate and complex. The individuals must be placed near one another so that they synchronize the expulsion of their gametes, which are later fertilized in the water. The future larvae pass through a very short stage as plankton and quickly settle on the rock. This limits the expansion of the populations, which in addition require high density to ensure their success. That's the beginning of a new life. It's a real feat, which if successful, will open a path to the salvation of the species. The leading cause of the drastic decline of these small but powerful creatures is the lack of information. Because of their similar appearance, identifying the various limpet species is a real challenge. The sun limpet is the most fragile species, as it occupies the upper regions of the shore platform, where it is protected from the waves, but is also very accessible for humans. Today, harvesting and consuming Fuerteventura sun limpets is illegal and fined heavily. For that reason, it's important to know how to distinguish it from the other species. But 3 other limpet species are scattered throughout the whole archipelago. The black limpet, as it is known locally, has a dark-colored body with green-gray touches, a detail it shares with the Azorian limpet, which has a pale body. The black limpet's shell is conical but flattened and displays a pattern of regular furrows. This characteristic distinguishes the black limpet from the Azorian limpet, which has fine, deep furrows that don't follow a clear pattern, however. Both are known as bottom limpets, as they are often found underwater. The limpets that we see in dry areas are commonly called sun limpets, like the Fuerteventura sun limpet. One of these 2 species is called the rustic limpet, which is very abundant on the walls of steep areas and which is easily distinguished by the black spots on its shell. Fuerteventura sun limpets seal their previously dampened shells in order to withstand long exposure to sunlight. To be able to contain more water, their shells are taller than those of the other species. Thanks to this trait, they manage to inhabit the upper reaches of the shore platform and resist those long hours of drying. The hermetic closing of their shells acts like a natural watertight chamber that allows them to survive if other threats don't prevent them. All of them contribute to the health of our oceans. They are food for other species and maintain the food chain on our coasts, supporting a rich and necessary equilibrium. To be able to contemplate all the beauty of our coasts, we must discover and learn about them. For the coming generations to be able to enjoy healthy coasts, we must learn how to care for them. Contemplate, discover, care for.